right? This one will be here, you're kind of looking at the moves up. So the very first thing here, like always, is going to come down to XRP's 4 hour, right? So when we start here, we can see that the 4 hour starts to move up way back at June 30th at the 1900 hours. All right, has a little move up. It gets its rejection at about 3 a.m. on the 31st, right? So I like to, if I'm looking at something when it starts to make its moves, once it crosses, we can see a cross happening at, you see on the 2200 hours, the 4 hour cross?
On Sunday at 2300.
Yeah, the Sunday at 20, yours would be 2200.
Just jumping too far. Okay, I got it right there.
Yeah, because we got it, Sunday it starts to make its move at about 1800. Starts to bend and go the other direction there. And that'll be the 4 hour.
It's kind of leveling off here for me.
And sometimes if you scroll, it'll give you a little more definition.
Yeah, I see. It's bending just a little, heading up at 2200. Or at 1800, it just peaked at 18.
Right. So right there you can see at so if you look at this last one at 2 a.m. it starts to head back down, and then it peaks out at 6 a.m. So from 2 to 6, it has its last pull down, and now it's starting its push up again.
Yeah, slight push.
Yeah. So what we can see here is that when it's making its push right now, right, it's the same scenarios. We would start looking into the 2, the 4, and the 1, right? So this main push-up starts actually at Sunday the 30th at 1900 hours. You see how the 4 hour was going down and then it starts to go up right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was our prior and our other 4 hour that we had. That's kind of where that last box ends. So now it's starting to make its move up here, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to track this 4 hour here. And we're going to make it.
You know, it's funny, you've got on your chart over there, you're able to make boxes. You've got a little box symbol over there on the far left. I don't have that.
Go over to brushes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And slide down to rectangle.
Got it.
Right. So
There
that's,
it is.
there you go. So now we're going to take this here, we're going to make this, because it's going to be long, let's make this box here, we're going to make this color on the 4 hour, we're going to make it green, like a light green, so we can see the difference. So this is our 4 hour starting to move up. There's one box, then it starts to go down, then we can see right here we're actually in the next move up. So this one hasn't changed. So we have two boxes that we have. So the first one starts on Sunday the 30th, 1800 hours, goes up to the 31st at 2 a.m. Then it gets rejected, starts to head back down, has its retrace moment. And a lot of times when you see this retrace moment, that's what I like to see, because that means it's consolidating, it's building momentum, right? So we've seen that push, consolidation, then it's coming back down, right? This next move is normally the power move, right? And that's where we see that first box is made, and then we got that second box starts again when it starts to head back up, which is at about 7 a.m. on the 31st today. So this morning, 7 a.m., it decided to start bending back up, and we can see that it actually crossed at 11 a.m. So once it crosses, that's our guy right there. So that would be at 10 a.m. your time.
Yep.
All right, so now inside these two boxes, let's go take a look at the next one, which is the 2 hour, right? So now inside this area here, this is where we need to find our 2 hour up and downs, right? So let's see here. So in this first box, we can see that 2 hour actually started at Sunday the 30th on the 1700 hour mark, or 1600 for you. And that went up until 12 o'clock midnight. Let me make this one orange. So there was a 2 hour that started up on the 30th at 1600 hours. It goes up until midnight, or noon actually, yeah, midnight, until midnight on the 31st. So that was our first 2 hour move up. Our second 2 hour move up happened today at 11 a.m., which happened to be exactly when the 4 hour started to make its move too. And currently, it's still going up. So now that we have these two sections that we can review against each other for longs, we'll be able to piece together a section here that would be more dominant than another, so that we can have kind of like the checklist, same thing that we do on the other side, just value. All right, so now we have our 2 hour, we have everything lined up there. We have our 1 hour, our 4 hour and our 2 hour areas pieced together. And now I want to slide in, I want to get the 1 hour. Let's see if the 1 hour has anything matching. So delete these out real quick. Alright, so now we do have a 1 hour bounce that happens right in here. It ends right there. Alright, so we had a 1 hour that started on Sunday at 1600 hours, or 1500 your time, 1500 your time, and it ran up and it rejected at the 31st at 3 a.m. And then it bottomed out and started the second move up at, once again, 11 a.m. So the 2, the 4, and the 1 hour, 2, 4, and 1 all started up at 11 or 10 a.m. this morning, same time.
Yeah, I marked that. I had a mark on that. I marked, wrote this down. 0.70, was it 0.7047? 704. I marked that point right there.
And the one thing I like about longs, right, is I like to have everything that, I want the momentum, right? You want to do what's called, like a lot of people call it momentum trading, right? So when there's momentum trading, you should have consecutive, people call them confirmations, right? So you should have consecutive confirmations all saying the same thing. And we can see here that we have the 1 hour, the 2 hour, and the 4 hour RSIs all start to head up at the same time.
Yeah.
So right there, anytime we see that, that is where we want to enter into a long position, like right away, because that's 3 confirmations that are all happening at the same time. So if you would have got into that beginning of that little trade there, that was an easy 300% trade, right?
300.
Yeah, so you got 3% on that. Now, this also means a lot of times when you see a lot of that momentum, if it doesn't have volume behind it, it doesn't have a lot of volume, it's going to hit a ceiling or a support line, and then we'll get another good short afterwards. But we'll see that in a second. But with anytime you have a lot of confirmation at the same time, it's almost like it's almost like, you know, it's blowing its load right there. It's happening so fast. It's going to do its push, and it should have a massive push. But if it doesn't, whatever it pushes, that's the end of that push. Like that'll be where when it reverses, it's gonna give up a lot of room on the reversal, because it was unable to manifest or create any big movement. And we can see right here the 1 hour is already hitting the top. So we're starting to get that moment where we're probably coming to the end of this little hurrah. And let's take
You mean this long push?
Yeah, because it's not doing as, I mean, they all hit at the same time, which should have gave it a nice, they should have gave it a nice little push. And right now, so we're kind of seeing the hurrah side. We take a look at our 15-minute, the volume is fighting right here, and we can see that it's trying to stay above the 8 line, so it's above the 7.5. So right now it's in consolidation right now. It's just waiting for the RSIs to get into position, which would enter the trade that, you know, like normal, what we like to do, which is short. So we can see here that we had all the indicators hit at the same time, 11 a.m. this morning. They all went green, which would have been an easy, you know, we easily would have made our 100%, 150% gain on there. So that all hit for us right there. Now the entries for us, once we see the 4, the 2, the 1, we would have slid to our 30-minute. As you can see right here, the 30-minute started to go up at 11 a.m. Same time. So that would have been a no-brainer. 15-minute, yeah, I mean, so that's probably one of the easiest trades in the world you can make. The only thing you would confirm on there would be a 3-minute green moon, 3-minute, you know, green trend, and that time, let's see, right here, let's see what this is here. So at that time, you had a green moon, green trend, you would have entered right here, and obviously that would hit all your targets. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, I was watching it at that time, I noticed all that going up, but I was looking for shorts.
Yeah, no, I know that. That's what I'm saying. But like that kind of like that setup right there was a ton of, you know, that's probably one of the easiest longs we're gonna see. So, you know, that's probably one of the easiest longs. So let's go to the next one, which is a little bit before us. We'll see what we had on that side. So the one prior to that, let's see how that looked. Because this one just all lined up, which means it's probably going to run out of gas pretty quick and go into a short position there. All right, so the one prior to that, we had a little bit different. We had the 1 hour bottom. It's 1,500 hours. We didn't get the 2 hour until 1,600 hours. And then the 4 hour didn't come until the 1,900 hours. So everything there was a little bit different. This is kind of like a normal trade there. Yeah, the 4 hour didn't start going up until Sunday the 30th at 1,800 hours for you. And at that time, the 2 and the 1 were already headed up. So once that 4 hour reversal came, we would have been right in this zone here. And all we would really need at that point would be the 3-minute 3-minute green moon, 3-minute green trend. Obviously, we're going to have that here. Let's see. Yeah, so right here, everything hits. We have a red moon. The moment we get a green moon, green trend, we're right here. And let's see if this would have played out on a long position if we entered. And that would have gave you a push up to about 0.85% area. Right in there, right about here would be your green moon, green trend. So right about there. So this would have hit your 50%, would have got past the 75% mark, you would have moved up, and it didn't hit its 100, but it would have came back down and stop lossed out. That's the importance of moving your stop loss. So if your stop loss is set at 30%, the moment it goes to the target 1, which is 50%. You move your stop loss to your, because you're taking half your profits. So 50% of your profits you are taking at the 50% mark. Now, once that hits, you move your stop loss to your entry. So no matter what, you can only get stopped out at the entry. Once it passes 75%, you move the stop loss to the 50% mark, which that did. It didn't get to 100, so it would have came back down and stopped out at the 50. So at the end of the day, that was a 50% trade. So that trade still wins. Now what I want to look at here is, even though both these trades won, the difference is the other trade gave us, you know, the percent that we want. So what I want to look at here is what are the differences in the difference in the move, right? And this is where understanding value, right? So when you're doing longs, it really comes down to our volume indicator, right? So I'm gonna get rid of the RSIs because we already have those marked. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the volume a little bit here so that we can see it a lot clearer. So the first thing here is that we have an entry point. We get in here and notice on the 15-minute area, on the 15-minute area, we can see that we have a green moon on the 15. The volume is still negative, right? So there's no positive volume on this move here. So this is where when we talk about longs, you always hear us say, don't do longs unless there's positive volume on the 15. Now the positive volume for us on the 15 is once again going to be the 4 line, 4.5 line, right? That's kind of where we want to stay as far as we start to look at, you know, entries for longs and stuff like that. So the 4.5 line, we're going to put that little blue line there. So right here we can see on this first trade where we did make money, right? We actually wouldn't take that trade because if you look down at the 15-minute, there's no value, right?
There's no volume?
Yeah, there's no volume there. That's the problem with that trade. Now as we move along, we can see here that we had every indicator hit at the same time, but we still don't have any value, right, above the 15. So that trade right there we wouldn't take. Even though it hits for us, we wouldn't take that trade. And then we do see where it breaks above the 15, the 4.5 line right here, which means that you would have took the candle here, this long one here. Now if we do get into this candle here, that trade would have actually gave you your, so in a perfect world you enter at the bottom of this candle, but I'm going to say you're not perfect. So I'm going to put you at the 3rd candle bottom of its wick, and then I'm going to ride to whatever it wick to. So this did wick to 150%. So you would have actually, by waiting for that volume to hit that 4 line, you would have got into this candle, one of these candles here, and you would have hit your target. So that's the difference in waiting for the volume. When that volume actually hit, that's where we took our profit.
So see, it's just the reverse on the short. You wait for it to go below the 4.5
Right.
volume.
And on the long, we need to go above.
Above, yep.
Now the only difference is on the long and the short is, you know, you can go after a long when the 15 breaks, right? We also look at, remember when we look at the shorts, we're looking at the 2 hour, right? So the real long here would be when the 2 hour volume gets above the 8, right? So you can see right here, it's not even close. It's not even above the 4, right? So
if it cracks the 8, then you're going real long?
yeah, I mean, if it starts cracking the 8, that means it has a ton of volume. That means we're looking for some, that's a real solid. But on the longs, you don't need so much beginning volume because you gotta remember that the 2 hour is working its way to the long. You see what I'm saying? So that's the only difference is the short, you wait for the 2 hour volume to be coming back down. On the long, you're waiting for it, you're pushing, you're actually trying to ride it up, right? But the most important thing is on the 15-minute, we don't consider anything to have any type of volume or hope until the volume breaks the 4,
Okay.
right? So right here, we can see it broke the 4, and now we wouldn't go into a short on this again until the volume breaks below the 4. So that's where right now we'd be sitting here going, okay, so if this volume gets below this 4, then we'd be going for another short in here.
On the 2 hour.
Paul Reeves. It's easy to look at what, bro, I don't know if you know Paul Reeves, but when you look at a chart, bro, let me show you something, man. This is to help you out, bro. You see this right here? This is something that hasn't happened, right? Do you see a candle, Paul? You don't, right? That means we're looking at a current chart at a current time. All right, my man Paul. And secondly, Paul Reeves. We actually did this trade live yesterday, right here. And we did 250% live for you right here. You can go watch the video if you want, Paul. Yeah, so right here, we would be waiting for the volume to get below that line. You see that? So now you see how the volume on the 15 just broke below the 8 line? So this is where we would be looking, saying that the short or whatever, you know, the little moments that we're looking for. So see that short happen right there? Hey, Paul, look. Hey, Paul, you see? That's from my boy Paul Reeves. That's 80% Paul Reeves, live trading, Paul. Paul, you there, Paul? I like my boys that come in here. It's easy to do this when it already, bro, it's happening live, Paul. Jeez. Jeez! I do everything live for you boys. But see, that's why on there, what we're waiting for there is, you know, looking at that long, you would have grabbed that first long, but this is also the reason why we don't stay in the longs that long. You know what I'm saying? Because there's not enough volume here for it to continue. And notice how the 15 just gave up. The reason why the 15 gave up is because of the RSI. Like, pull up your RSI on your 15 minute, you see?
Yeah, heading down.
Hey, heading down. So it's got to have a pullback. Now, where's it going to find the support? I have no idea. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm already up on this. I pulled a trade on this. I'm up 103%. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put a stop loss at the 0.070. Zero. Maybe we'll do 1. Yeah. And then
And 1 hour still heading up too.
yeah. So I got this set for 115% profit. So, oh shit, Paul, we're up at 150, bro. Paul, you here, bro? Paul, we're here, bro. 150. Look, we're live. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. I don't know what live you need, bro. It's live. Look at it. It's counting money right now, bro. That's that shit. I know you've never seen this shit before, bro. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. I'll do it for you. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. But you see how that works? Then that's why I was saying, like, when we're looking at these trades right here, a lot of times is we have to find where the trade is actually heavily in our favor, right? So that's where I wouldn't like really get into a long unless it's like super. And so far right now I don't see, let me take a profit here. I gotta put a take profit here at 200%. All right, return on investment, 200%, close that shit out, boom, there we go. That wasn't bad. We took a 128. So this is where watching the longs, right? We can take advantage and get these longs, but this is why we don't push our luck on our longs, right? Because it's harder to get people to buy than it is to sell. A lot of times the pushes on the longs are just to get people FOMOing in, and then they short the shit out of them. So you never know how much is going to come in. That's why I say I think on the longs, taking 50% profits every time is a lot smarter, right? because it's just a quick hit. You're not extending yourself, and you're getting what you want. So this is a scenario where, is it worth the risk on that 1% move? I mean, to me, I'm not really sure on that, right? So this is where having the volume at certain levels. So we'd have to look here and go, okay, what here is the best entry here? Because I didn't see anything that was really spectacular here. Maybe the 30-minute green moon, right? Sometimes this is where the moons are very important on the longs, because they give you heads up of what's happening before it happens. So like on the 30-minute green moon, that would give you a way better entry, because the 30-minute green moon lets you know that the volume is starting to go in the favor for you for a long, right? But I'm still not convinced that a long here would have been a good play, because the volume and everything is kind of in the wrong way. Or you can turn around and say, well, we had a 30-minute moon and we had a 1-hour moon, right? So 30 and a 1-hour moon gives you a good trade. Like, so you see on your moons there? So there's a section here where we do have a 30-minute moon, and we do have before that first big candle, we had a 1-hour moon, right? So both those actions there could have gave you a nice trade. Either way, you win on that trade right there. You get 100%, but you're only looking for 50.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm always looking for is confirmation of, something that I can put on a checklist and say, okay, if it has this, then I'm good, right? And that's where the volume is so key to me. See, in my mind, if I'm seeing the long happen, right, I'm seeing a 30-minute green moon, but I don't see any volume. I see a 1-hour green moon, but I don't see any volume, right? That is telling me that I need to start trying to get an entry for a short. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's, in my mind, it's like, all right, so the first wick hit that top spot. You can see that first big wick candle hit a top of 71.90, right? So to me, I would set a short entry at 71.90. And sure enough, that second candle hit it. And the reason why I would be doing that is because at the time of that first wick, we had a 1-hour green moon. You can see that the 1-hour RSI is starting to bend. That to me is weakness. So I would be looking to try to set an entry on a short at 71.90, or in that little zone there, somewhere around there, 71.82, 71.85. That's where I would be looking to take advantage of this little push and pull. But right now, I'm not seeing anything spectacular here that would tell me that XRP is going to go on a push here, right? So right now I'm just seeing a consolidation, which is kind of like a coin flip.
Showing XRP at 69.95 now.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's nothing. It's going to find a channel here that it's going to keep touching top and bottoms. But I'm not seeing anything here that's making me yeah. And another thing that I can look at is if I go back and I look at my higher time frames, right? Go look at your 4-hour, right? And you can see that we don't have a 4-hour moon yet, right? That would be a trade that would jump for us. So that would be a trade that I'd be like, all right, if we can get a 4-hour moon, I can see a bump here. So that's what I'm waiting for. That's the trade I would like to have as a 4-hour moon, right? So then if I go to the 3-hour, right?
Wait, there was a 4-hour moon. That's why I took it.
Yeah. That's what I'm telling him. Like right now, like when we're looking at this, where was your 4-hour moon? What candle are you on, Big Book?
I think it was like maybe an hour plus ago. It was like maybe it flickered, but that's the reason why I took it. Like, I wasn't trying to long it, but I was able to squeak one out.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, because I'm looking at it like.
Yeah, but right now, yeah, totally.
What I'm looking at is like, because we want to be very selective. Yeah, we won the trade. Nah, the trade won right there. We got a nice little long. I just fucking squeaked out that short real quick for 150. But
I know I moved my stop loss too aggressively, and I missed like another 100% that you got out of that. I walked away and I started playing with OP. Good looks on that one though.
yeah, yeah. And so what I'm looking at here is that I want to get to the where, you know, because I'm just so convinced that, you know, the 7 trade challenge, right? I think like at the end of the day, the goal is this, right? We got to always remember like what are we trying to do here, and what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make $100 grand a year. So if you want to make $100 grand a year, you need to make $2,000 a week. So you need to have 4 trades that make $500. You see what I'm saying? So if you had a $1,000 bag and you took just a 50% profit every time, right? 4 trades would get you $2 grand. If you increase that bag, which you will over time, to 2,000, and you start taking 30% profits, which is literally fucking guaranteed in what we do. That's almost like fucking candy from a baby. But that would be 4 trades would be 300, like $600. So that would be $2,400, right? That puts you at a beautiful level of $2,400, $400 for your fees and your taxes. The other two, there you go, right? Simple trading. So for me, it's like, all right, so you need 4 solid trades. So for me to take a long, you know what I'm saying? I want to see something that's just so like the perfect. What we're really looking for here is where do we get the perfect entry? I guess would be the answer. Like where's the perfect entry on any long, right? And what's going to let us know that we're going to have a good long, right? So the system works. Like you jumped in, you got your long real quick. And
yeah, but it didn't have all the academy stuff. That's why I didn't post that I was about to do it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want anybody to follow me on something that
I seen it.
Match the academy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like when you get better at it, you can grab some of those here and there. But I'm like, why? I'm always like, why risk? Like, why risk? You know what I'm saying? Because I kind of went at, I was tracking that long a little bit, and I had about 140 in it. And it got me for about 100. So as soon as I realized like there was no volume, I reversed it and I got all that money back. Like for me, you know, I can have two bad trades in a row and grab my money on the next trade. But as a rookie, it's like, what is the thing that we absolutely need here to take along? Because honestly, we need to get to where it's like 4 trades a week, right? So we should be taking the greatest short, which I think we have nailed down to a fucking T. And now we need to figure out what's the greatest fucking long. Because we don't want to have multiple longs, because there's all types of longs that win, there's all types of shorts that win. But if we had to narrow that shit down to the best short, which I think we have hands down. And then now the next thing is, where's the best long, right? And then when you have those two, that's all you look for. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what you're saying. Like,
Yo, VC, what up, man?
What's up, bro? Who that?
Jimmy.
Jimmy! What up, baby? Stelios, what up, baby?
Yo, VC, if you get a second, could you look at ARB real quick, man? Because a 4 hour, 2 hours coming down. I'm just trying to see where would you re-enter on this, on this short.
What are you looking at, ARP?
Yeah, man, it's been dumping. I'm just trying to see if it's bottomed already or if we can still squeeze something out of it. Daily's on the floor, man.
What's the ticker?
ARB.
Oh, ARB. Bravo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said P as in Paul. All right. Yeah, dude. You're ready to go, dude. You got your 4 hour headed down. So the only thing here is you got your 4 hour headed down. You got your 2 hour headed down and a 2 hour moon. You got your 1 hour still room to go. So I think it just comes down to the 30-minute, right? So here's your 30. Right, so I would let this 30 kind of bounce up a little with the 15. Yeah, because you see how all the volume's gone already? You see it's at the 30 line? It's like at the 20 plus line right there. So I would let my 15, I'm going to watch the lower time frames to see how strong the push is. right? So from the 15, go down to your 5. Look at your 5 minute, right? Let your 5 minute push up, and if that can't get back to the top, that's where I would start looking at that area to start re-entering.
Okay.
Because that's what you're gonna start marking it out. So let that 5 minute push up, whatever price it's at that moment. Take a look at your 15, right? If your 15 is starting to move up finally at that point, then you would let your 15 run up and then watch it closely, because it might only go back up to the 20 line and then reject. But right now you're kind of hitting a support line right now. Yeah, you're right on a support line. So if you back up, put your 15 minute and scroll out a little bit, you can see that ARB has hit this line a lot. I mean, it is fucking sitting on a very,
I think like 113 something is the low.
Yeah,
like, so it could still dump down there,
so
right?
you go to the low, right, which is the 113.73, right? So that's where I would definitely target out. But in between there, you have a low of 114.80, and then you have right where you're sitting right now. So that's where I would be kind of like concerned here, because I would expect the 15 minute to at least try to pull up a little here. But like I said, if it only goes to the 20 and reverses, then I would expect this to continue. Because look at the 15, right? Look at your QQE. You see how the volume on the bottom is starting to bounce? Yeah, so that green line, you see how it's starting to go up there? So it's starting to show resistance. So I would watch that line, and whenever that line starts to bend back down, I would enter 50% of my short at that point.
Even if the 30 is not lined up, we're just mainly concerned about the 15.
Yeah, because the way it works is if the 15 is going up, right? So think of it like this: it's trying to drag its partner up, right? So if the volume on the 15 can't move the 30 off the floor, that means that there's a lot of weight on it. So when the 15 starts to head back down, it's gonna come back down and meet the 30 again, right? So if the 30 doesn't move at all, and you see the green line on the 30 not moving at all, then it's too much weight on the pull down, meaning it's waiting to break.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a water balloon. It's just pulling it down. That's why the 15 can't go up. You know what I'm saying?
It makes perfect sense, bro. Thanks. I just confirming.
So for me here, the only thing I would be concerned here is as it starts to fight, I would just watch the lower frames to give me an idea of how much it wants to go up, right? So you see the 5 minute? So if this 5 minute fails to move this price, right, I'm just staring at the price right now. So right here, we're stuck at this little 1568, right? So if this 5 minute can't move the needle and it can't get up and starts to head down, then I would assume that we're pretty weak here. You know what I mean? So I would be expecting it to continue the fall as soon as the 15 minute rejects and starts to head back down. And you're also in a situation where while it's fighting there, because you're waiting for the rest of the fall, that 1 hour could find the reversal. You're at that little moment there where you're either going to get that last hoorah, that last 1 hour pullback, or you're going to get a reversal here. Like, to me, I'm feeling like this has hit a floor, because this is a pretty heavy support line. If anything, I would expect it to maybe wick down to your 15 cent mark, which is the last, looks like it's a 0.5%. So it's not worth actually going for here, because you have a 1 hour about to bottom. So I would be patient here, and I would let this coin find some type of area. Because you see what I'm saying? It's only a 0.5% to the next support line, which is tough to get. It could only give you maybe 0.25, 25%. So it's not worth the risk. But I would be looking to see if it can find a reversal here, because when I'm looking at it, it's kind of like starting to slow down here. The 2 hour has a long way to go, and it could find some juice here. And the 4 hour doesn't have a red moon yet, right? So it's not fully convinced on a downward. And sometimes the support line will give it like its target, but it'll need to go up first and then come back down. It needs a bounce, basically. It needs a dead cat bounce here. That's what I'm looking at.
All right, gonna watch it then.
Yeah, it's like drying paint
Because
right now.
I hit it twice already today. I got it like, I started getting in when it was at 119, and I got it like that short, the first one, and then one more just like, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. But I've been at work, I've been busy. I could have squeezed so much more out of that thing if I was watching it.
No, you're good, because at this level right here, we can get another 2% down to that 113 area, that 114. It just needs to, it just looks like it's trying to find a little bit of support here. So watch the 5 minute. If that 5 minute isn't giving any price, right, then that's where I would start, considering, maybe this is going to give up here, because that's going to be key. If this 5 minute can't drive that price, then there's really no value here. And then you've kind of caught it at a zone, but I would expect it to at least push a little bit here. I'll look at your 5 minutes. Here, your 5 minutes starting to grow right here. So wherever this 5 minute goes, the top of this first candle, I would start looking at that as a possible area of like, okay, if it starts to fall here, but I just feel like the support is pretty solid here. And I wouldn't trade against the 15 minute, because I think the 15 is going to bounce here. And then if the 30 starts bouncing, then you got to wait on the 30. So I think it's just going to come up for you and give you another zone, probably about 116 and a half, maybe 117, and then it'll come back down again. Just let it reset here.
Well, we could get pretty good long position on this, because if it jumps down to that 113.70. It's most likely going to reverse, right?
Yeah, you can put a long in here, man. You can set a long up and say, okay, I'm going to put a long, because you can set that order already. You can put a long at 113.80, 113.85. So if it just like does a super wick right now and then starts pumping up, you can wick that 13.80, 85 right here, and then next thing you know, you're in the long. You're in the 1 hour long.
Yeah, no, that's it. Don't do that. I want to leave a limit order right there, because I feel like it's not gonna. That's a strong support, like you said, and I think it's gonna turn around.
You can still get a wick. Like I say, like out of nowhere, they could finish the little wick order, right? You might not even see it, but I mean, definitely put a long somewhere around a 114.5 area. That would probably be a solid. Or the next support that I see is about 114.90. So it could just tap that and then start the reversal, because you got a 1 hour at the bottom here. So in the 30 minute is at the bottom. And my problem is the 30 minute hit the bottom, came up, already reversed, and that was the short that we wanted. See your 30 minute, came up, reversed, right, that little pull down, that was the short that we wanted there. I don't like pushing a short more than a couple times, because it just, there's only so much you can give up. So it's already given up 1, 2, and mine is normally 2 times. 2 times off the 30 minute, once I see the 230s, I kind of like back off of it, because I want it needs to show me momentum. The risk versus reward isn't that great. Right now you're kind of in a coin flip. So as a shorter, you would like to see it push back up somewhere and then take advantage of it coming back down. Right now you're kind of already down. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're scraping crumbs right now. Not worth the risk. That's when the mentality is always like, all right, man, I only need 4 fucking trades. Like, why worry about this one? But I would put this on my list, because the next time this 30 comes up and starts to come back down, that in the 1 hour, that would be the next big trade. So I'm gonna actually put a box in here where we're at, and then I'm gonna come back to this trade here, and we're gonna see how it plays out. I'm gonna put this chart. I'm gonna keep this chart up. How's it been going, Jimmy? Matt, how you doing, brother?
What was that? You broke up?
Bro? How you doing, brother?
I've been good, man. Busy. I haven't been trading that much this last week, so I tried to get a couple in today.
Yeah, take your time, man. I got the new videos lining up. I'm gonna reset up the newbie lobby, so I'll put all the videos, let you guys know, go watch them. Keep it simple.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm gonna check those out, man. That's for sure. I watch all your videos, man, over and over. Sometimes I just like don't. I stop trading for like 3-4 days, and then man, I get rusty quick, man. I gotta start going back and reviewing everything.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. We're trying to figure out, like, there's some longs that we had on XRP, but I mean, to me, I'm just like, when it comes to the trade, I just want it to be like flawless. You know what I mean? Like, to me, if I don't have a trade that is a guaranteed 3% move, like on average, I don't like the trade. You know, that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, because XRP is doing this little consolidation move, and we had a couple 4-hour bottoms, and then they moved up, and this last 4-hour bottom is probably the best one, and I'm just looking at it like, you know, I'm trying to figure out what would you know, what's the best long, right? Because we want to have, the next thing that we want is basically just to have, I think on the short side, we're solid as hell. We know we got the 4-hour, the 2-hour, the 1, the 30, the 15. Boom, we're in. Like the shorts are money. So I think on the long, we need to have that same thing where we're looking at everything, and we're just like boom, 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 and then we just know, right? So that's the only thing that we're missing. Is longs are a lot more difficult. So having where a guaranteed one, right? There's going to be some type of, you know, indicators that tell us, right? And I'm trying to look at the moons and see if that's kind of like the bonus of what we have there. You know? Who's over there, man? Randall! What up, baby? Randall and Shelly. I agree, VC, your videos are definitely information. Yeah, I mean, you know, guys, you just got to get to the point where we just don't want to be risky. Like, I just don't, you know, there's just no money in risk. We want to have the least risk with the most reward. And I just, like I said, I just feel so confident that if you're only doing the shorts, right, and you're doing 4 trades a week with a $2,000 bag, and you're setting profits at 35%, you're making $100,000 a year, man. I don't see why I would risk. If I wanted to make more money, I just make it a $3,000 bag. Yo, what up, baby? What up, rookie? You guys see what I'm saying? Like, if we want more money, we just increase the bag and we lower the take. We just take it 35-40% every time. So, like, Jimmy, if you had where I said, all right, Jimmy, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do a $3,000 bag, but I want you to put take profit at 35%. How would you feel? How many times do you think you could win that trade in a row?
More often, that's for sure. At 35%, that's less of a move, man, and more money.
Yeah. So if you were like just waiting on the perfect short every time, you think you'd hit that 35 every time?
At least. At least, man.
8 out of 10, right?
When you got the 4-hour going with you, for sure, man. That's easy,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying. It's just hard for me to because I'm just a logical thinker, right? It's hard for me to take risk when I know that I have such a strong trade the other way. So on the long,
I make 30-50% sometimes trading against the 15 and the 30, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we could take 35%, that's a no-brainer for us.
Yeah, man.
So
sure. Yeah, that's the right way to go about it, man. Sure, just back for the percentage. That's a good strat.
Yeah. So what I'm doing is like, because that's the beginning right now. So learning in the beginning, you know, how to take 50% to 100%, 150% profits each time, right? So you're setting targets. You're setting areas, you're moving your stop loss. Really what you're doing is you're learning how to trade. You're learning how to set a target, you're learning how to take a stop loss, you're learning how to move your stop loss, you're learning how to take profits at the 50, 100, and 150. Right? And eventually what happens is you get very good at entering, and you get very good at taking profits at 50 to 75 to 100%. And then once you master that, if you can take those profits every single time, then I say, okay, do 35%. That's literally 40% of what you've been doing the entire time. That you should be masters at that shit. You know what I mean? More money, less risk. That's why I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the XRP here, and we got a lot of the 1 hour, the 4 hour, all went green or all bounced at the same time, and we got a nice little push there, right? And it's probably going to continue on here. But I think once you have, everything line up and you get that 4 hour push, you're going to get that movement. I just don't see like the prior one. We had a 1 hour start to move up, then the 2 hours started to move up, and then finally the 4 hours started to move up. But that move only gave us a 50% move. We still made profits, but it's not what I want. I like trades to be 1 to 3%, so that we know that they're always in there and guaranteed before we do anything. And that's what I'm looking for right here. So then on the next move of this XRP, the next time that we had a long, we had the 4, the 1, and the 2 hour all start to go up at the same time. Now that's a no-brainer. That's probably one of the easiest trades you could ever do. And that trade was able to actually give us our target that we wanted. So that trade was worth 2.5%. So that was the trade that hit its profit. Everything worked out. That was perfect. So now what I want to do is kind of say, okay, what are the triggers that would say to us that those trades are great, right? So we could see that there was a 4 hour flickered. So a 4 hour was flickering there, but you don't need a 4 hour moon every time. Really what you need is a 1 hour moon, which we got right here, and a 2 hour moon, which we got right here. So when the 2 and the 1 hour moon hit, when those two were active, which it doesn't matter which one comes, whatever, those would have gave us our entry here, and we would have made our move here. At the end of the day, we would have made our money there. But I'm still not seeing anything that's like full out, like that's the move. So that's a good long there. So we'll kind of review that. So the difference here is basically on that first long. I didn't like the volume that was kind of setting up in there, and that's really what I wanted to look at, was what was a trigger point that just kind of made it to where that first long just wasn't as good as the second. And I think it really just comes down to volume on that. Let's take a look. Because here we can see the 15-minute volume was above the 4 line. That gave us a 15-minute green moon. That was a nice trade. Over here we got a 15-minute green moon, but we didn't have any positive volume, and that's why that trade was bland. So I think right here, one of the bullet points that we want is we need the volume to be at least above the 4 line, or breaking the 4 line on the 15, for us to consider a long. That's the only thing I'm really seeing as a difference here that would make me change my So you see that, honey? You see the difference on there? You know what I'm talking about, Badger?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been going through some of this history on this XRP and looking for some entry points on these shorts. I know we're looking at the long right now.
No, you're good. No, you focus on the shorts.
Yeah, but just not there for that long that I'm looking at. It only got up to like 3, not even 3, almost 2.5 is about it. So it didn't make a volume push.
Yeah, and I'm going down to the lower time frame now, because what I want to see is we have our 1 hour, we have our 2 hour, the 4 hour hits. Do we get in when the 5-minute volume is above the 4 or touching, which would be here? I don't know if that is. know if that actually brings in profit. Hold on. See, no matter what, we want to be above the 4 somewhere, right? So if we got in right there, this isn't bad. I mean, it's still a 0.5%, right? So that's the problem. It's still a 0.5%. It's not giving us what I want. Maybe the 3 minute. Maybe we can go to the 3 minute. There's something here that we need something that we can look at every single time and have a trigger for it, right? So here, that gives the volume here, gets above. So once the 1, the 2, and the 4 hour bend up, then the 3 minute moon is here. We have a 3 minute trend, and the volume breaks the 4 right there. So that would be at this position here. It's still only a 0.5%, right? So it's not giving what we need to have a push there. All right, so we go back to the 5 minute.
See, are you on TikTok right now?
I am on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over there, bro, because this Discord chat, bro, is so hard to hear anything.
You good, bro? Go TikTok, brother. It's your favorite
Keeps
home.
coming up for me. I don't know.
It's your favorite home, bro.
Let me jump on that or
Yeah,
YouTube.
I'm just trying to you know, I'm not seeing the trigger. Normally I like to. So for me, the trades that I like are bigger time frames, right? So anytime I do longs, I always want to have the bigger time frames. I want to go with them, right? So when I see these XRP longs here, the trades that I like to do is when I see a 4 hour, like the 1 hour moons and then the 4 hour moons, right? That kind of collab. Those are really what I'm looking for. Here's your 1 hour moon here. That would have gave me a different entry point, and that might have been worth it. But let's see here. Here's your 2 hour moon here. Here's a 2 hour here. So 2 hour moon with a 1 hour green trend. It's just not giving enough volume. Yeah, it's gotta have positive value no matter what happens. What was it? We need positive volume on the 30, right, Boogie? Is that what it is? So before you can go long, you need a 1 hour green moon with positive value on the 30, right, Boog? So the original.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think the original. Let me go pull up a. Let's see. Let me pull up the trades here. 30-minute Academy trade. That's a short. Long. 4 hour green trend. I'm not even looking at the trends right now. I have my trends off. That's probably the difference too. Let's see here. Because I know we want, no matter what, we need 30-minute. You want a 30-minute positive value, no matter what you do. Let's see. And then we do the switchback. So moon reset, intermoon, changing back color, higher gains, 30, 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. That's what I'm saying. I know we have a bunch of different longs that we have here. I just want to get it down to like where it's 1. I think the moon reset is always money. I just love the moon reset, but I want it to where it's. Here's our crypto. Let's see. Top trades, 2 2-hour green trend, enter on 5-minute green trend, close on red moon. What would be? Four-hour moon color with value matching it. Green moon, positive value. Long, red moon, negative value. Short. So a 4-hour moon with positive value. You know, so I know we're always looking for that volume on here. It's just here. Yeah. So for us, it's just always that positive value, right? So it's always, just got to have that. And normally it's on the 30-minute, which we have here. I don't mind the 15 minutes, a little bit quicker for you, but yeah, I would just say the 15-minute. I mean, we just have to keep that moment right there. It has to break that four line on the 15-minute, 4.5 line, and somewhere around there. Anything above 4 would be the move that you would get an entry point there. And I think that's one thing we just have to have. If it doesn't have volume above the 4 on the 15-minute, you just can't take that long. So to me, I think that's just one of the rule of thumbs. Like if the volume isn't crushing, passing the 4.5 line on the 15-minute, that's just not a trade. Bottom line. If it doesn't break that 4 line, it's just not just can't take that long. I think we'll stick with that as we move forward. I think that will basically, I think that's the long trade I like. Let's see here. So like here I get a 2-hour green moon. Had a retest here, which would be, so take a look at, so if you guys see, you see the 2-hour, take a look at, when you guys will see this video, you have a 2-hour green moon, and then it goes down, it gets rejected at about 9 a.m. in the morning. So instead of going red on the 2-hour, it rejects the 2-hour reversal, and then that's when it goes for that big run. Right, that right there is kind of like, as you guys will learn, you get a little better at trading. Like Boogie, you should look at these. Anytime you have like a 2-hour moon and then it goes to hit and go to a red hour moon, but it rejects, that is normally where you're going to have an entry for a long, right? But I need something a little more for the new people, right? So as you get better at it, you have a lot more trades like that. But for the new people, we got to have something that's just consistent. And so far right now, I gotta have the 15-minute value, right? Yeah, just gotta have a 15-minute value. Let's see. 2-hour rejection right there. And that 2-hour rejection was also a 2-hour, also gave us the 1 hour, the 4 hour. So this long right here was pretty easy, but I don't see anything else that I would consider a super long. Alright, so let's go back here. Let's go find a big long that we can look at. Kind of see what was really triggered, right? And I think if you start with 15-minute, right? Alright, so let's go back to this big pump and see what the value was on that big pump. Yeah, so you can see right away that volume broke away for you, and then boom, that volume's above that 4.5, all the way across, and exploded. Yeah, you just have to have that volume above that 4.5 line for any long. I wouldn't trade unless it had that value. And then I would really bunker down on longs, taking 50% on those trades and walking away. But yeah, we'll keep doing reviews on these. Like I said, I mean, for me, longs always have to have volume above 15 for me to look at it. So you can see right here, XRP had no volume this entire time. Couldn't break the 4, couldn't break the 4, and then right here, finally breaks above the 4 line. And we get this little move here, which wasn't a bad move. Somewhere in here, even if you got in here, I don't need that. Need profits, long position. So anywhere in there, you still ended up with 2%. Yeah, so you're good. So basically, man, the rule of thumb, the volume is above 4.5 line on the 15. It's not a fucking long. So that would be the first thing that I look at here. So as long as everything goes in the same direction, so just like our short, 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, all going the same way, 30-minute going the same way, 15, volume check. If it's above the 15, 4.5, you got yourself a long. If it's not, then you just don't do it. So just like on the shorts, if you have everything going your way, but that volume is on the 2 hours above the 8, you don't do it. If it's above the 4.5 on the 15, you just don't do it. So I think those two things right there will be the rule of thumb for the longs. And then we'll just bear down on them a little bit more and watch them. But to me, those are the two things. Like here, 15 minutes bottoming out on the RSI. It looks like it should go back long, but that volume isn't above the 15, and it's probably going to come to a short. Probably going to short out here. Yeah, the 1 hour's headed down. 2 hour volume is completely giving up here. 3 hours going flat. So XRP looks like it wants to continue to short. XRP is getting weak. Yeah, so that's just a rule of thumb, guys. So we'll take a look at these longs and we'll continue on here. But I think, like, for me, I'm still very, very, very solid on just waiting for the shorts to come around. But if you're doing a long, I would just take my profits a lot more around the 50% mark, more solidly. And then that way I'm not really dealing with too much stress on there. You know what I mean? So how are them shorts, Honey Badger? You understand those? Pretty simple?
Yeah, I got the shorts down pretty good. I just haven't made a move with the MEXC yet. I'm still just wanting to get real confident with.
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Just put your money in your MEXC, right? Just start with the $10.
Yeah.
And even if you start off at the $10, just set your profits, your 50%. Just put stop loss at 30, ROE, and put your ROE for profit at 50. Don't even worry about the other targets.
Okay. So over the MEXC, they have a chart, 100x, 20x.
You're doing 100, 100x leverage.
100x leverage. Also, it said to invest XRP. It didn't give a money amount. It just had XRP. How many XRP did I want to short?
Oh yeah. Okay, so they're sliders, right?
What's that?
They're sliders. Okay, so when you're in there, okay, so basically, once you, and I'll do a video for you right now, man.